Hi, this is Anthony Lighthall. Thank you for joining me today on this podcast entitled From Dreams to Actions, where we talk about business goals, supporting positive energy, and following your dreams. On today's episode, we are going to talk about unleashing your potential. Now, let's start off and understand that not everyone has a self motivating, self inspired reason to start things. Sometimes people need a push. That's why people hire life coaches. That's why they hire personal trainers or fitness coaches. Not everyone has that mindset. But if you do have that mindset and you are self disciplined, you're self go getter, self motivator, definitely keep that because it's definitely going to help you throughout your path of accomplishing goals or setting goals for yourself. Because as you know, things are going to get tough and not everything is going to be planned the way we have it lined out or planned in our mind, but we need to find something that inspires us to keep going. You follow me? So in this episode today, that's what I really want to talk about, is really focusing on inspiration and the keys of that and how it plays a critical role in accomplishing your goals or just setting goals that may take a couple years or maybe it only takes a couple weeks, but you have to figure out how to find that, what is your why and what keeps you going. So definitely enjoy the show today. So as I mentioned, this mindset is something that you can probably teach yourself or build on, or maybe you can look for that assistance or that help where you do need that extra push or that extra motivation from someone or something to help you reach those goals. So, as I mentioned before, definitely you have to understand your why. What is your why? There's people that say they want to start a side business or they want to be their own boss. Okay, why? And I always tell people when you figure out your why, one of the reasons cannot be money because money is honestly easy to make. It really is. You can get multiple jobs, you can do you can get involved in legal or illegal activity. Is so many ways that you can make money. So your why has to be more than money. It has to be, I want to help build something to better sustain the environment or to help people. I keep hearing people complain about, you know, this situation, but I know I have a solution to alleviate that challenge or that stress for people. And then over time, sometimes it turns into a business. There's something that I got into woodworking because I wanted to build something that I felt no one else had or I couldn't find it where I was living. And so I built it myself and then that turned into a business. So, a lot of times when people uh, start making money or have a business, their why is not the money because they're not even thinking that far. They're not even like, oh, this is a business. It's more of a solution to a problem. So always figure out your why. That's really going to help you out with step number one of getting inspired and inspiration. So why is this so powerful? Why is inspiration so powerful? Well, it definitely connects us with our passions. And a lot of times when you have something you're so passionate about and think yourself, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, uh, if you love selling houses, you're in real estate, you have a passion for something, no matter how many setbacks happen or how much you feel like you failed, you keep going with it. You dream about it. You think about it when you're eating. You probably can't even pay attention to a movie because you're thinking about this passion. And no matter how many times you feel like it didn't work for you, you never stop. And you just weren't satisfied with that failure and it's like, okay, I'm quitting. You're like, okay, well, it's not a failure, it's just that way didn't work out, so let me try another situation. Okay, I got cut from the team. Okay, well, let me keep practicing in the backyard or practicing at the park for basketball. Okay, I didn't get the job offer. I got a rejection letter. Okay, that's not going to stop me. I have a passion to work in this industry or for a company that's similar to this one that I interviewed for. When you have passion, you just keep going. It's like a drug. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. you always get back up because that's how passionate you feel about it. So, like I said, I gave a couple of examples of like, of sports. You hear a lot of stories of, great athletes today that were cut from a team or that missed shots or that lost a championship, and now they've won the Heisman Trophy or they've won consecutive championships. Even people in business, you hear about their stories of how they were homeless and sleeping in their car, but they just kept going. They were just so motivated and passionate about their business, and they knew that it was going to work. They just needed that one yes, and they kept going until they got that. Same thing as I mentioned with musicians and artists. They get booed and rejected, and people don't like their stand-up comedy or like the song that they wrote, and then you take a step back and they're 25-year veteran in this industry, and you look at some of their first work and it was actually kind of good. It was that stepping stone that got them to where they are today. So your why has to be more than money. It has to be something deeper than that. It has to be something that's going to keep you up at night, something that's going to keep you thinking, keep you creative. So think about your why. I would say that's definitely number one. So let's think about a few inspirational uh, individuals, males and females, uh, in our lifetime. Gandhi, Oprah, Susan B. Anthony, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman. They're all influential in their own way. And I would say they've changed people's lives. They've changed their community in a better way, changed the world, provided opportunities that we probably still use to this day and that we are appreciative of this day. But one thing that they all had in common was that they had a drive. There was a passion. There was something that kept them going. They had a whole bunch of failures. There were a lot of failures, but they had that accomplishment, maybe that one accomplishment or multiple accomplishments, and it actually worked out for them. So there was something in them that drove them, that they were passionate about, to continue to make them, in their eyes and in other people's eyes, successful. And let's go back to your why should not be money, because success should not be measured by money. It shouldn't be measured by how much you have in your bank account, because someone's always going to have more than you. But success, a lot of times, is measured by how many people's lives you've changed. Have you changed the world? What is your legacy? Do people still think about you and you've been passed away for over 100 years? That's success. It's more than money. It's real deep. So think about that as you review and listen to this podcast. Um, but again, going back to these influential, inspirational individuals, they just all had that passion. They had something that, you know people probably want to stop them because of their gender, because of their race, because of their beliefs, and people were not accepting to it, but they kept going. And that's the same thing you need to think about when you are accomplishing your goals or finding your passion in life. So I wanted to take this time also to talk about the sense of inspiration and some ideas that can help you get started. And I'm going to go through them each one by one and provide a little bit of examples and more clear context with each one when it comes to inspiration. The first one I want to discuss is talking about exploring your passions. I've been talking about passions a lot. And what excites you? Your passion is bigger than your passion is bigger than money, which is going to be your why, figuring out your why. It engages you in the activity and it also brings you joy and fulfillment. This could be anything from painting. You like being in the outdoors and hiking and fishing and maybe mountain climbing. You push yourself, you exert yourself. You like being around other people and helping and giving back and volunteering for the environment or for people that are in need. It's a passion. It's something that you love to do, and this can definitely help to inspire you. And it also can cultivate and actually help you think of ideas uh, to help you keep going, or ideas that have not been thought of to this day. The next one is surrounding yourself with inspiring individuals. This is really important because, like the old term says, birds of a feather flock together. Now, I know some people will probably argue that and say, no, I have friends that I don't follow what they do or engage in the activities that they do. You probably don't, but people, when they see you around them, they're going to automatically associate you with those individuals that probably engage in activities that you probably shouldn't be engaged in or that are not too favorable for you. And or you hang around these individuals long enough and you're going to start to develop those habits. So I always say surround yourself with more influential individuals, excuse me, people that have more than you, not out of jealousy and enviness, and to say, oh, well, they're driving in a Benz and I only have a Honda, or oh, they have a 5 bedroom house and I only have a 2 bedroom with one bath, and I'm in an apartment. No, you want to surround yourself with people that have more than you because it's an inspiration. Think of it in the lens of you being a mentee and they're the mentor. What are they doing right? How did they get that? Maybe ask them questions. If you don't, it may be a friend or acquaintance, but you may not know their whole story. Understand what failures they went through and what challenges they went through. So inspiring or surrounding yourself with those inspirational individuals and knowing that you should never be the smartest person in the room is really going to help you in life because you're going to start to learn and gather those resources and listen to those individuals who have gotten to the point in life where you want to get to, or maybe you want to surpass them because you know that you can. You have that idea, you have that creativity, you have that drive, and so that really helps to be around those individuals. Embrace new experiences. One thing I always share with people is to get out of your comfort zone. I cannot stress that enough. Get out of your comfort zone. I'm that type of person when something seems routine, or maybe I'm new to a city and everyone's knowing me. I have to look at where else can I go where I can start developing new relationships. I'm not saying to leave that town or that city or leave those people. It's just get out of your comfort zone because you may seem like you are the it person. You're the, what do they say? A big fish in a small pond. Now go to a bigger pond and be that small fish and start to be that big fish again. Start to challenge yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. This is really big with traveling. A lot of people don't want to travel. Um, they don't want to get out of their hometown or out of their city. They think this is it. This is the best place in the world. This is all I need to know. Mm-mm. You need to travel. Not necessarily have to move and up and relocate. That can be a challenge for people, but at least travel, out of state or out of the country, and see how other people live. That's an inspiration as well when you get to connect with other people that may not speak the same language as you, or individuals that may not have the same beliefs, or maybe you're learning from their religion on what their beliefs are. It's an aha moment. It's a light bulb. So getting out of your comfort zone is really important. Getting surrounding yourself in unfamiliar spaces or with people that you've never encountered before. Next is learn from stories. So if you're a reader, I'm an avid reader. So read biographies or autobiographies. Learn about people's lives. I mentioned the Oprahs and Gandhi and Harriet Tubman, etc. Read about those inspirational individuals, and there are a lot of people. Those are just a handful, but there are so many people that have stories. Everyone is an author. You're an author, and every year or every time something happens, uh, it's just another chapter in your book. It's another page. So read about those individuals and get inspired by their stories. Me personally, I like to read about leaders or times back in the day of 1500s, 1600s, 1800s. I'm inspired by that because I think about the technology that they didn't have, or the technology that they did have that for us is like, that was technology. Sculpting a knife in order to hunt, or a spear in order to feed your family, that was technology. Constructing a wheel in a wagon with horse and carriage, that was technology. The Model T Ford back in the early 1900s with Henry Ford, that was huge technology. I was watching something and someone asked their grandfather, what was the biggest piece of technology that kind of blew your mind growing up? And this elderly man said the radio. He said that was something that just blew my mind. How does this device have someone talking through it? You're listening to somebody, but you don't see them. Like, you have to take a step back and think about that. Like, we listen to podcasts, we are on YouTube, we are connected to the world. But this elderly guy, and I forgot what his age was, but he said the radio was like a game changer. That was huge, to hear somebody but not see them. And I can only imagine after radio, then you have TV. You can see someone through this tube, through this screen, and see what they're doing and acting things out and see what color they are and all this other stuff. That's mind blowing. So I think about things like that, and I like to read about, older times and how people have changed the world with minimal resources, and the resources that we have today. After I read that book or that inspirational leader or whoever, I think to myself, I have no excuse. I have no excuse. I need to be out here making money. I need to be out here changing lives. I can be out here changing the world. There's no excuse. The world is at our fingertips now compared to other people where they were only known in their land or their town or their pueblo or just right there. And now we can connect to the world. So I can go on and on with this, but you know where I'm getting at. Um, the next one is take initiative. This is a big one because taking initiative is taking the lead, being a leader, and saying what you're going to do, and putting that action to it. And when you put action to something, sometimes it's unknown. Maybe it's planned out because you talked about it, you sketched it out, but complete that process. I think we are in a world where there's so much distraction. Uh, Look at this, sign up for this, look, check your email, check your Instagram, check this social media, send out this email. It's a lot of distraction, and you have to be careful that you don't get caught up in that web of distraction, especially when you have a goal. You have to make sure you complete what you have to complete what you started and finish what you started. I'll use me for an example. With woodworking, I work on different projects. I may have a project that I'm working on, three projects for one customer or one person, and I've had it where it's like, okay, I'm gonna start this project, and then I get distracted. And I'm like, oh, I'm ready to start this other project, and then I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and start working on project number three because I know it's gonna take me the most time. There's a lot of times I have to step back and say, Anthony, you haven't even completed the first project. This first project, project number one, is 25% done. Project number two is 80% done. Project number three is 15% done. I'm all over the board. I'm all over the place. So there's a lot of times now I subconsciously say, okay, I'm gonna look at project number one and see how much time it takes. I'm gonna do the same thing for project number two and project number three. But what can I start now that I can finish and get done and out of the way? Now I can focus on the next project. Start it, get it done, complete it, get it out of the way. Now I can focus on my attention on this other project. Because when you're getting distracted like that, you're not giving your time and your energy to focus on what you need to focus on because your mind's all over the place. So taking initiative is not only starting something, but it's also completing something. And that's important. And I think a lot of people kind of miss that, where they're just all over the place. And it's like, don't overexert yourself. That's where people get overwhelmed, where they're doing so much and they probably aren't seeing results because they haven't focused so much attention. They haven't focused a lot of their attention or their energy on this one task. Next is continue to learn. Always continue to learn. As they always say, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and it really is. As I get older and I read more and I listen to different podcasts from inspirational individuals. I'm always learning. I always want to learn something new. Every day is an opportunity for me to learn something new. So never stop feeding your brain knowledge. Continue to read and research. And also, the biggest thing is make sure that you listen more and talk less. I'm going to say that again. Make sure that you listen more and talk less. Sometimes I'm a very reserved person. I could be in a room and I just like enjoy watching people having a good time, or I'm listening to conversations, or maybe I'm engaged in the conversation, but I'm listening more and I talk less because I'm taking all this information in, and my brain is like a machine. I'm receiving all this information, then I'll hit you with a question and you're like, wow, that was deep. That's a good question. Or I'll give you an opinion on something that I believe in, and then we can have an intellectual conversation. So listening more and talking less can be very beneficial to you when it comes to you learning and being engaged in great conversation with people. Next one is working efficiently. Um, Working efficiently, find ways to save time. Always find better ways to do something. There's always a better way to do something. Instead of horse and carriage, now we got cars. Instead of gasoline, now we have EV and electric cars. What's next? There's always a better way to do something. I always tell people never work hard, always work smart. I never work hard, I always work smart. I can teach a 12-year-old how to work smart or how to work hard. Mow that grass, do the trimming, do the edging, weed the garden, plant these roses, plant this tree, do this, do that. But how am I going to teach this 12-year-old to work smart? How can I teach that 12-year-old to say, hey, while this is going on in the background, or while this is getting shredded, or something is getting dried in the sun, what can you be working on so that when you're done with that other project or that other task, two things are done instead of just one thing? Work efficiently, work smarter. That's a key one there. This other one I want to talk about is something I believe that a lot of people are missing out on and lacking nowadays, I'll say, is being patient. That's the next one here. Be patient. Too many people are watching what other people are doing. Too many people are following what other people are doing or trying to follow what other people are doing. And they get discouraged. They get sad. They get depressed. Be patient, people. Enjoy that journey. You're going through this journey for a reason. You're going through those failures and setbacks for a reason because there's a greater goal for you out there. You are you are setting up um, bricks or stairs, stepping stones, as a lot of people say, in order to reach that goal that you are trying to reach. You're only a month in. That person you're looking at is 20 years in. Don't compare your chapter 2 to someone's chapter 22. Okay? Be patient. Enjoy this journey. Don't fast forward because when you fast forward, you're going to miss out on something that's probably going to make you more successful, more knowledgeable. So enjoy the journey. Definitely, please be patient. That's a big one. I think we're just so everything, we can see everything. Everything is so accessible now. Um, just be patient. Focus on what you're doing. I'll say this with being patient. I think about being patient means staying in your lane as well. I think about when you go to the horse track. If you've never been to the horse track, YouTube it, horse tracks. Horses have blinders. They can't see to the left or the right of them because they're focused. They're just in that race. And that's the same thing you have to do when you are being patient. You're just in that race. Just focus on your goal. Okay? Don't think about who's to the left or to the right of you or who's behind you. Be creative. Creativity is huge. This is the last piece here. Be creative. No idea is a bad idea, but it's a start. Just be creative. Think of different ways to do things. Question yourself, question other people. Be creative. Let's try this. Let's try that. Make sure to scale it where it is attainable, but just try it out. Be creative. It's a start. A couple things I wanted to wrap up here with inspiration. Uh, I wanted to talk about a little bit more about inspiration in regards to how it can fuel creativity and elevate you and help you with planning. And I would say the first one with inspiration of helping to plan and setting goal setting, it can really help you because it helps you to become a visionary. It helps you to clear your mind. It helps you to really think not about right now or what you're working on, but the bigger picture. When you have that inspiration when it comes to planning and when it comes to goal setting, think about SMART goals. It's an acronym. The S stands for um, specific, the M is measurable, the A is achievable, the R is relevant, and then the T is time bound. So SMART goals, SMART. That inspires people to really see the bigger picture and to really, like I said, focus on what you started and, focus on it until the completion of it. Use SMART goals. It'll be very helpful. As I mentioned as well, inspiration fuels your creativity. It just, all these ideas come into mind. It's a start. Try things out. Try it on a small scale. Try it where it's digestible and you can work on it and complete it and then just kind of grow it from there. If it doesn't work, if it fails, hey, try something else to kind of piggyback off of that failure. A lot of times that's where people get a lot of their inspiration off of something that they failed in or something that didn't work, and then they get that light bulb, idea, and it's like, oh, okay, let's switch these wires with this one, and now we have electricity, just as an example. Um, so, inspiration definitely fuels your creativity. And lastly, inspiration can elevate you. And how is that? It can really push you to your limits. Like I said, if you like the outdoors and hiking and, rock climbing and mountain biking, maybe it's an exertion. Maybe it's challenging your full body, challenging your mind. It's a passion. It inspires you, and it elevates you to that next level. It pushes you to that next level where you can challenge yourself for that next big mountain climb or that next goal that you have outdoors in nature, where you can face those challenges and be determined to accomplish those. Um, you can also, it also helps with discipline as well, because then you have to be consistent. Maybe you fell off your bike when you're mountain biking and you're like, that's not going to happen again, and you just keep doing that path and you know where those branches are at, or you know where that hill is at, or where that climb is at, and you just exert yourself and you continue to plan and challenge yourself, for that as well. And lastly, I would say it definitely helps to minimize distractions and keep you focused because you have something that you are so inspired to accomplish and a goal that you have to reach, because there's probably another goal that you have that you want to accomplish, and minimizing those distractions that have nothing to do with your goal can really help as well to elevate you and your inspiration. So I really appreciate you all joining me today on this episode. Uh, Definitely continue to support and follow From Dreams to Actions. I really enjoy putting these together, and hopefully it's helping someone out there. But definitely follow, like, share, and comment. And always remember to follow your dreams.